Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Dago Cleaning Systems Supervisor Orientation. My name is Derek Foster. I am the President and CEO of Dago Cleaning Systems. And today we're going to talk about several different things that will help you be successful as a leader here at DCS. We have a lot of opportunity that is available to you, and our goal is to help provide you with the tools, knowledge, experience, and even the luxury of making a couple of mistakes along the way, so that way you can learn and develop yourself into a future leader to help you meet your goals and to help you continue to grow right along with DCS. So the first thing that we're going to do, I would like to talk about what exactly we're going to discuss today. You've already received your new hire packets. We'll make sure that all your paperwork is filled out at the end of the presentation. We want to make sure everything's in order and that you have everything complete, that we have emergency contacts for you, just in case we do need to get a hold of somebody, in the case of an emergency. We'll talk about the company history, our mission as a company, your mission in your supervisory and leadership position. We'll talk about the company vision, the company values, the company structure, policies and procedures. We'll discuss the measurements of success for failure, the duties and responsibilities, and the tasks that you'll be responsible for on a daily basis. We'll also talk about how you're evaluated, what we're looking for you, and where we're looking for you to get to throughout the course of your first year with the company. We'll talk about the hour submission, a little bit of safety, and finally we'll talk about your email address, the emergency contacts as I mentioned previously, the dress code, and then finally compensation and payroll and how you're paid. So let's get started. Just to give you a little background as to where Dago Cleaning Systems originated from. My mom, Michelle Dago, and I co-founded the company back in 2011. We started just the two of us. I was working full-time, she was working full-time, and we worked on building the business at night. It took us a few months to kind of get things up and going and off the ground. We would go to work during the day, come in, clean, and build the company at night. And gradually, as we got busier and busier, we were able to gradually hire help on. Now we're currently at about 40 employees, and that's growing pretty quickly. We've came a long way since we first began in regards to processes, procedures, and you'll hear us talk a lot about process. We're a very process-oriented company, and we like to follow specific processes. A lot of long days, a lot of challenges along the way. We've learned a lot, we've made our mistakes, and like I said before, you guys will get that freedom to make some mistakes. We'll actually let you mess up from time to time because we want you to learn from those mistakes, and we want to be able to see if you're able to learn from those mistakes and not make them again in the future. What we do here, you guys should be proud to be sitting in this room because not only are you a member of a team, we're the highest quality commercial and residential cleaning company in the area. We're the best at what we do. The reason for that is because of people like you, folks who want to step up, want to better themselves, have goals that they want to achieve, and want to grow with the company and help the company grow at the same time. It's all about creating opportunities for both your teammates as well as yourself. You'll hear us talk a lot about that as well as we move forward. All right, so let's get into it. The first thing we'll talk about is the mission here at DCS. We operate each day with the intention of relieving busy families and business owners of their duty to maintain a clean and healthy environment for either their family or their friends, and so they can spend their free time with their family and friends rather than cleaning their home or office. So in reality, you're not just cleaning it. I know it's hard, you know, in your day-to-day, and it's going to be very important as you develop as leaders. You know, your cleaning techs in their day-to-day, they see the small picture after a while, and you'll see it happen. You know, the day-to-day, oh, I'm going to clean this account or that account, but it's very important that you remind them that what they're actually doing is keeping all those employees healthy, saving that business owner or that company time, so that way they can focus on growing their business, which will in turn allow us to grow with them. It's very important, and we take it very seriously, and it's something that, you know, you'll hear us talk a lot about with you, and we want you to do the same with your team. Remind them from time to time, you know, why they're here, why they're doing what they're doing, because it is very important. Your personal mission as a DCS supervisor is to handle any tasks that allow your manager or our manager position to operate within their 5 dials. 5 dials, you know, I know that's something that's probably not familiar to you, but think about an airplane. There's a bunch of dials on an airplane. There's both a pilot and a co-pilot. The reason for that is because there's so many dials there, that one person can only handle so much, so that way they can continue on a safe, you know, and have a safe flight. So, you know, when we talk about the dials, what we mean is there's 5 things that you can do in your position, and each position has these, that are the key elements that make up that position that you can handle in an 8-hour period that allow the company and all the processes to run effectively. So keep that in mind. You'll hear that term a lot as you move forward with the company. So next, let's talk about the vision of the company. This is something that's very important. You'll hear us talk about it in leadership meetings, your trainings. Realistically, you'll hear this about at least once a day. And if you're not, you should be. You should also be relaying this to your team. Maybe not once a day, but at least once every couple days. The reason for this is that our vision is our snapshot of the company at a future date and time. So 5-10 years down the road, what does the company look like? What are we doing? How do these positions look? How is it structured? So on and so forth. So it's very important that we know where we're going. If we don't, any road will take us there. So what we did as a leadership team a couple months ago is we put together this vision. We all contributed. We all, you know, kind of share now the same vision of where we want to go. I shouldn't say kind of. We do share the same vision as to where we want to go. And it's very important. We want our entire leadership team, you included, to really believe in this vision and as to where we're going. So we envision ourselves as a full-service commercial residential cleaning company that operates across the country. The company currently has 1,500 employees who are all part of a team that they contribute to every day. The biggest asset that DCS has is its people. The company has invested very heavily in the success and development of its employees who have demonstrated that their personal values align with the company's and that the company culture is a good fit for them. Let's break that down for a minute. The first paragraph, little lofty, but that's where we want to get to, and that's where we're going to get to. To build a company that size, we need a lot of people with leadership capabilities and leadership experience. You are all here in this room because you've demonstrated those leadership qualities, and you've also demonstrated that your personal values align with the company's. Whether you've been with DCS as a cleaning tech in the past, or if you're brand new and just jumping on board, the culture and what we've created here is a very family-like atmosphere. We all work together, we all want to grow, we all want to achieve more. The only way we do this is by consistent and steady growth. We can't take 3 steps forward to take 2 back. We always want to continue on that upward growth pattern. The second piece of this, our biggest asset is our people. The reason you're sitting here is because we're going to make you and we're going to develop you in your leadership abilities and skills to the point that you're an effective leader, you're comfortable handling difficult situations, and you're responsible for that growth of the company. Okay? We do a lot here. You'll be asked to join in leadership meetings. We'll sit down, have one-on-one leadership meetings, and provide you with feedback as to how you're doing, what you can do better, what may need to improve. We'll have leadership seminars, we'll do workshops, we'll do all that stuff. The reason you're sitting here in this orientation is because this is the first step to you developing and becoming a better leader. So, again, we invest very heavily in our leadership team, and the reason for that is because in order for us to grow, you have to grow with us. Okay? The next piece that I want to get into is the company values. You might be asking, what are value? I mean, I want to ask you, what are values to you? What does that mean? Well, these are the guiding principles that guide our actions and our decisions each and every day, and it shapes the company culture. Again, as a leadership team, we came up with these a few months back, and it's really changed the way that we've done things, and it's changed the way that we've made decisions. The reason why is because every decision that we make on a day-to-day basis aligns with these values, and if they don't, chances are it's going to be a wrong decision. So again, you'll make mistakes. You'll come into situations where you have no idea, exactly what decision to make or what to do or where to turn. But these values are meant to serve as, a guide. Take a look at the situation, assess it, weigh the pros and cons of your decision. Does that decision align with these company values? If yes, then it's probably the right decision. If not, you might want to go in a different direction. So again, these are very important to what we do. Our company values are meant to be there to evaluate your cleaning techs. Now they have a different set of values than what we've come up with as a leadership team. There's a reason for that, because we want to make things a little bit simpler on our end. We have a lot of things going on, keeping the vision in mind, the mission in mind, relaying that to our team. This makes it a little bit easier for us to kind of encapsulate what the cleaning tech's values are. You'll be evaluating your staff and your peers with the tool that we've built, and it's all based on these values. So we're not looking for you to look at your cleaning techs as to whether they can clean or not. We're looking to see if they have integrity. If they're growth focused, if they're goal oriented. We want you to identify and develop those people, the ones on your team that exhibit the values that we've set for them. And that's why we've simplified it into these three company values. First one's communicate. Communication is key. You'll hear this over and over. You'll get sick of it. But if you do it, it's going to help you be successful almost instantly here. We stress communication constantly. Communication by email, by phone, through Google Drive. It's very, very important and imperative that we communicate. We got to let folks know what's going well. We have to provide our cleaning techs with feedback. That's probably the biggest one. Communicating to your peers and to your cleaning techs as to how they're doing. Because if they don't know, or if a peer doesn't know if maybe they could be doing something a little bit differently, how are they supposed to fix it? Or how are they supposed to change it? Communication's key. With our clients, with your upper managers, with your cleaning techs. Really, you have the most difficult responsibility. You're communicating upward, communicating downward. So it's a constant struggle to make sure that we keep everybody that needs to be informed. During your training, we'll go over emails, how to send the proper email, how to CC different people so that way everybody can see it and know what's going on. So we'll cover that. But it's very important just to understand that we need to communicate. We already talked about identify and develop good people. Very important. Again, if we want to achieve that vision, we want to get to 1,500 employees. Well, you guys are closest to the field. So you have the best set of eyes when it comes to identifying cleaning techs that could become potential leaders down the road. And then you know what? It's your job to train them and help guide them and grow their leadership capabilities or leadership skills. So when you get promoted, they can fill your shoes. The third one, provide outstanding service to the client. Again, we've established a reputation here that we're the best in the area. Not a lot of companies can do both residential and commercial cleaning, but we do. The reason for that is we're able to provide the service for our clients at home and at work. They trust us. They believe in us. They believe in the brand. That's why they work with us. So if we let them down, and again, we provide a 100% satisfaction guarantee, so it's imperative that we do absolutely everything in our power to make sure that they are blown away with the results that they receive. And if they don't, if something goes wrong or if a mistake is made, we're going to fix it. So again, it's your responsibility to relay this to your cleaning techs and to make sure that they understand one of their number one or their number one priority, because they're the front lines, is to provide that service and make sure they're communicating, doing things the way that they need to be done the first time. Welcome back, everybody. Now that we've discussed and set the foundation with the vision, mission, values, the company history, and whatnot, we're going to move on and we're going to talk a little bit about the company structure and the way the company is structured. For those of you who have been cleaning techs, with us for a while and have been through the cleaning tech orientation, you've already heard about this. You already have a general understanding of how the company's set up and how we're structured. But for those of you that are new, I want to review this just so we can understand, why this is set up in place and, what is it utilized for. So in your supervisor cookbook, a few pages in, you'll have an organizational chart. Now, this is a general framework as to how the company is structured. This structure will expand horizontally as the company continues to grow, and we're going to continue to add more and more of each position as is necessary. So again, we have this in place, and you can turn to your cookbooks, take a look at it. We can kind of run through it. But the reason we have this is not to, set folks apart from each other. The reason that we have this is to control the flow of information throughout the company. As you cleaning techs know, communication is key. We emphasize it. We've already talked about it. So to guide that communication, we have this, so that way you know exactly who you're supposed to be communicating with and what you're supposed to be communicating. So we have our cleaning technicians. We'll look at the bottom of the page first and we'll work up. But what I want you to understand is that your cleaning technicians, their responsibility is to communicate with you, period. They're to communicate with you in regards to any issues, problems, items that may have been requested from the client of them to do. You got to know these things. So their responsibility is to communicate to you. Your responsibility is to communicate to them that they need to communicate that. And then you need to be a good listener. Okay? So you guys, unlike the cleaning technicians who are communicating only to you, you guys may be communicating with the client from time to time. You guys are communicating with the cleaning technicians with any requests, any new policies, about materials. There's a list of things that you'll be communicating with them about, as well as the vision, mission, values, culture. Those are all things that you'll be talking with them about. So the cleaning technicians communicate with you, you communicate back with them. Now the second piece, okay, and the reason for your added responsibility is essentially to communicate to your manager, right? Because as we grow, things would be absolutely chaotic if you were talking to, if I had 50 people that were talking directly to the VP of operations, or they already have their communication circle and who they're supposed to be communicating with, and so do you. So it makes everything flow smoother. You know who you need to communicate with, that's your manager. Now, you need to relay problems, issues, successes, very important. It's not all negative here. We emphasize the positive. And you'll be communicating with them those items, and then they'll communicate them to the client. Okay, so essentially what we have is you're communicating both upwards and downwards in that information chart, that flow of information chart, let's call it. So again, your manager will be communicating with you about any items that may have been missed, any new policies, procedures, anything they want you to do differently, about the inspections that were done, so on and so forth. So you'll be communicating both up to your manager, they'll be communicating back to you, you'll be communicating down to your cleaning techs, and they'll be communicating up to you. Now, the biggest piece of communication, and probably one of the most important, is positive feedback, right? You'll hear it a lot. There's a lot of things in this industry, in this business, that are negative. Making clients happy is not easy, I'm going to tell you right now. But if you communicate thoroughly, okay, and we know what's going on both ends of things, so if your cleaning techs know what's going on, your manager knows what's going on, you know what's going on, the client will be happy, okay? So, again, the most important piece of feedback that you can give your cleaning techs is that positive feedback. What are they doing well? Okay, not what are they doing wrong, it's what are they doing well, and what can they get better at? Because again, things happen, mistakes are made. The important part is that everybody gets better. Remember, to get to that 1,500 employee mark, have to get better. There's no other way to do it. Your manager is going to give you consistent feedback. Might not be all positive, but you need to know what you're doing well and what you need to improve on in order to get better. It's going to help you grow as a leader. So again, you can explain to your cleaning technicians that, I'm going to give you some feedback. I'm going to give you feedback on a weekly basis. I'm going to tell you how you're doing because we want you to get better. Might not all be positive, but you need to take it and accept it and look to fix and utilize that feedback for something positive. Make yourself better. Your manager will tell you the same thing, okay? Don't get frustrated. It's a learning experience. Don't get frustrated. Take it, improve on it, okay? And make yourself better. That's what we want you to do. So the next thing that we're going to jump into are your measurements for success and failure. How do you know how you're doing? What are you supposed to be doing? Are you doing it well? How do I be successful here? Well, let's run through this. Now this is all located on your supervisor hire template, which is in your cookbook. So if you want to turn to that, or just pay attention here and you can refer back to it after, that's fine too. You as a supervisor are responsible for our client's overall satisfaction. Okay, so that's it. Beyond the cleaning techs, you're the first line of defense. You need to make sure that everything is buttoned up at each account every day. How do you do that? Well, part of it is going to be training new employees. We now have a trainer set in place on both the evening and daytime shift who is going to mentor new employees, who's going to teach new employees the way that we do things in the field. So you'll have some help and assistance, but it's going to be your responsibility to make sure that that trainer is doing what they're supposed to be doing and that they're following the processes, so that way your cleaning techs will get correct information and they'll understand the proper way to do things. Okay? From time to time, you're going to have to deal with some disciplinary situations. It happens. Okay? Again, if we're providing feedback and letting people know what they're doing well, what they need to improve on, and our cleaning techs have a good understanding of what they should be doing, this shouldn't be a big issue, okay? But again, occasionally you're going to run into an issue that is going to need some sort of disciplinary action to show people that that's not okay. That's not how we want you to do this, or that's not how we want you to behave. So we're going to have a whole separate training video on how to deal with that. But the important piece is to confront the employee, address issues immediately. Don't want it to become and snowball into a big issue. If you address it with the employee immediately in a calm tone, and make them understand that, look, you don't have to do it that way. That's not correct. It's not going to help you grow as a cleaning tech or as a leader. Why don't you try doing it this way? If that doesn't work, change your tone, your body language, and you're going to address it again. Okay? But we do have a whole disciplinary process. It's in your cookbook. It's very simple. So, as a supervisor, you will be held accountable, and ties back into overall client satisfaction for performing your inspections, account inspections, twice per month. The idea here is so that we have an organized schedule and system, so that way you can look at an account, see what's going well, see what needs to be improved upon. If the client has any special requests or you notice anything additional that could be done, such as carpet shampooing, VCT, it's a good sales opportunity. When you're doing the inspections, again, back to communication, we ask you to input notes on each account that you go to for that day. And what this does is it allows you to share with us, your manager, executive, so on and so forth, your notes from the inspection, so that everybody's on the same page and everybody can see what's going well or what's going wrong. You are also responsible for moving paper products. Paper products, equipment, chemicals, they're all big expenses in this industry. And the more that we can eliminate waste of product and paper products, the better off that the company as a whole is going to be. If we can eliminate waste, the faster we'll be able to grow. In addition, to that piece of things, in order to take paper products or chemicals with you, we ask that you sign them out. We have a sign-out sheet in our office. Very simple. Sign it out. Put what you took, the date, where you're bringing it to, and sign the bottom. And that way, again, you're communicating with your manager as to what went out of the office that day. So if we take a look and say, this account, what was brought, we're missing 3 boxes of paper towels or toilet paper in the basement, well, let's look back at the sheets and see where they went to. Simple as that. Occasionally, and again, we want to avoid it. We revamped our hiring and orientation process, and we've gotten much better, but we want you to act as a manager and oversee the big picture of, each day and what's going on. Occasionally, if you're, last minute, somebody has an emergency, you may have to jump in and fill in for an employee. But occasionally, we all have to get our get in, do the work, and pitch in. It's just the way it is. So expect that you'll do that occasionally, but again, we'd rather you utilize the resources that you have in terms of your team and having a plan B for each account to shuffle people around, so that way you can fill in or have somebody cover for another absent employee. Part of your job, biggest part of your job is organizing your labor. We have a tool called Chronotech, which we'll talk about later. Allows you to see the big picture, where everybody is, where they're clocking in, what they're doing. So it'll help you formulate that plan B and organize that labor in the field to each respective account. If you have an account startup that's coming, it's a good idea to plan ahead. You're going to need maybe a couple extra folks there for some extra labor, for the additional cleaning that's going to be needed for that first night or first week, depending upon the size of the account. So you're also in charge for organizing the labor piece. Now, we talked a little bit about performance reviews and employee feedback and how important it is for you to give your cleaning technicians feedback on a consistent basis. That way they can improve on things as needed. They know what they're doing well, so they can keep doing them. It's very important. But and a lot of companies, they have performance reviews once a year, whatever the case may be. We don't want that. We want them to be once a week, and they want them to be more informal. It's a corporate way of basically putting things on paper and acting as though they're really giving feedback to their employees. Well, they're not. By the time you reach your performance review or 90-day evaluation, we expect you to have talked to that cleaning technician or your team member multiple times, so that way there's no surprises. They already know, either what they needed to work on or get better at. Performance review is more so for you to give them feedback as to how much they've improved. It's always encouraging, when somebody's been working really hard at something, give them that positive feedback. On the other hand, if they haven't gotten any better, then it may be a good time to address that with them, and maybe they would be a better fit somewhere else on your team. We recruit nonstop for employees. The reason is we need as many good people as we can possibly get, and you want to identify and develop good people as the company continues to grow. So we do have an incentive program for recruiting new employees. If the employee is there for 6 months and so are you get $100. If they're there for a year and so are you, get another $100. So we encourage you, and we encourage you to encourage your team to refer any folks that may be a good fit. Now, there's a fine line you got to walk, because we've seen it in the past that typically your best employees will refer great employees, and vice versa. So if you have somebody that's starting to become a headache or has been a headache and hasn't really improved, and they refer somebody, chances are, you can be more than nice about it, but chances are they're probably not going to work out. But you can pass the information along to the office, just give them a heads up as to what the situation is. We'll talk to the person on the phone, and if we think they would be a good fit, then we'll bring them in. If not, we already had a heads up on what the potential outcome would be. We have a floor care division, as you know, and occasionally, you may be in charge of supervising that, or, eventually once we create a full floor care division, you may be a supervisor for that division. So it's important, that everybody understands the process that is involved with, floor care and maintenance, VCT, carpet care. It's a vital part of what we do and distinguishes us from a lot of our competitors. We have great systems that we utilize, and all those processes and systems are in your cookbook. Really encourage you to learn them, because it's going to really speed up your development and give you one more facet of what we do that you'll be capable of leading. So again, back to communication. You have the greatest responsibility of communicating up to your manager and down to your cleaning technicians. This communication, at just as much as you're giving your cleaning techs feedback as to how they're doing, it's important that you keep your manager informed as far as, who's doing well, who's not, what you're talking about to your employees, and, what and who is improving and making great strides and improvements. It's very important. Recognition and compliments from managers, executives, it means a lot and it goes a long way. So in order for us to be in the loop and involved, it's necessary for you to communicate that. Same thing, disciplinary situations, we need to know about them. And any ideas that either you or cleaning techs or anybody has for improving processes that are currently in place, because let's face it, 2, 3, 40 heads are greater than 2. So if you do notice, or if your team member notices a better way to do something, listen to them. They may have something that you haven't thought about, or a manager hasn't thought about. So it's important, and we want to make everybody feel welcome to express their ideas to a certain degree, as long as they're pertaining to improving and speeding the process up and making things more efficient. We're all about it. Keep that in mind as well. Company policies will occasionally change, and it's very important that we want to share all that information with our cleaning techs, and we don't want to hide it and spring on them last minute. So it's very important when we do institute a new policy or a new process that we take our time in rolling it out. A lot of people aren't comfortable with change, and unfortunately, if we didn't change, then the company wouldn't grow. So in order to do so, there's going to be frequent change, not once a week or once a month, but once every few months. If there's something that needs to be improved upon, or somebody has an idea like we just talked about, we may have to make some changes, to bring that to fruition. So again, to make that change and facilitate it and make a smooth transition, your manager will communicate everything that needs to be communicated to you, and it's your job to give your cleaning techs a heads up as to what's going to be changing. Give them a couple weeks notice and ease them into it. Answer any questions that they may have, and if you don't know the answer, communicate those to the manager or a member at the executive level, so that way we can get that employee an answer. Okay? Any new account startups, this is going to become huge as we continue to add accounts. As a supervisor, you're in charge for setting up any new accounts, bringing materials, paper, whatever's needed there, getting the checklist together, relaying that checklist to your cleaning technicians, listening to your manager or salesperson, whoever has walked the account and knows what is to be done and what the expectations are there. It's very important that you become familiar with that. Become familiar with the layout of the building, where the closet is, where the bathrooms are, how the dispensers work, do we have all the keys, so on and so forth. Those are all important pieces of the puzzle that will make a big difference when it comes time to start up that account. Okay? So, and again, this video is to introduce you to the way that things are, things operate here and the different things that are expected of you. But don't worry, don't run away scared. Your manager, the executive team, we're going to train you in these things and how we do everything. We're not just going to throw you into it. So just make sure you're communicating, and when you do feel ready to start taking on certain responsibilities on your own, just be sure to communicate that, so we can coach you and continue to guide you, but we don't want to hold anybody back either. Now, the next thing, we already talked a little bit about evaluations, performance reviews, and again, we want to provide constant feedback to everybody, as we continue to grow. You may be wondering how you yourself are evaluated. Well, management staff is going to evaluate you on a number of criteria. Again, they're going to provide feedback on how you're doing in all these areas, but it's your job to improve on any areas that need to be improved upon. Only you can do that. If you need help or don't understand something, gotta ask. The culture we built here is so nice because it's not, you don't need to be afraid to ask any questions. We're more than happy to help you out, and we want to see you succeed and reach your goals. So I'll just run through the list here, and if we have, maybe we can have a little bit of a discussion afterwards. If you have any questions, be happy to answer. These are also on your supervisor hire template, so you can take a look at that as well. It's in your cookbook, should be one of the first 10 pages or so. Client complaints. Again, you're responsible for client satisfaction, so if they're complaining, 9 times out of 10, it's something that needs to be improved upon. Communication abilities, communicating the proper information to the correct people, so following the corporate structure, making sure we're talking to who we need to be talking to, emailing who we need to be emailing, make smart decisions quickly and efficiently, weighing the pros and cons, making sure those decisions align with the values. When presenting a problem, have the solutions formulated. When you go to your manager with a problem, or anybody with a problem, already have thought of a solution. Here's why. If you come to a manager with a problem and not a solution, it shows that you're letting that problem win. We want you to try to solve that problem on your own. Your manager is there to provide guidance and assistance and, frankly, answer questions and again, we want you to make mistakes, so we're not going to give you the answer. So when you come and talk to them, make sure you have a solution prepared, and we'll give you some feedback as to why we think it may be a good decision or maybe not a good decision. Evaluation of personnel, we just talked about that. Handling disciplinary situations, again, they don't happen often, but occasionally they do. Knowledge of paper product costs. We want you to understand the cost and really how valuable paper products are. I've seen it closets where the sink has been left on, floods. There's $500 of paper products ruined. It's not good. They're expensive. So we need to care for them as if you were buying them for your own home. Inspection grades. Occasionally, I shouldn't say occasionally, regularly, your manager will be following up, taking your notes, and going to do their own account inspections. So they're inspecting what you're inspecting. So if for some reason there's a discrepancy between what you see and what they see, we'll have a conversation about it, and maybe it's just that either you didn't notice something, or your opinion of something may be a little bit different, or perspective, which is great. That's why two sets of eyes are better than one, always. But your manager will be going around doing inspections as well. The training hours that you've logged, so how much time have you spent with your trainers or with your cleaning techs, folks that are being trained and brought up to speed in their current positions. Very important that you do take the time and spend the time to make sure that they have a good understanding of all the processes and the way that we do things. Cleaning technician performance. We want you to develop and clone yourself, so we have a running list of folks who are ready to be promoted. The reason being is because we can't promote you until we have somebody to fill your shoes. So as the company grows, it's going to become increasingly important that we can fill your shoes as you do grow and develop. Absences really goes without saying. As a supervisor, we really don't expect you to miss many days. It's unless there's an emergency or you're very sick, okay. But again, make sure we're following the processes if you do need to take a day for something. But plan your outside events, doctor's appointments, all that good stuff outside of your scheduled work time. Most of you work in the evening, so it makes sense to schedule things either in the day or before you come into work. Okay. Company goals. We're going to set goals for you. We're going to set 90-day goals, year goals, 3-year goals. It's up to you whether you want to achieve them or not. We're going to help you get there, but you have to put the effort forth. So we want to make sure that you are working towards those goals and working towards completing them. Moving on to the next part of your orientation, I want to talk a little bit about policies and procedures. It's all laid out in the handbook. You've all been sent a welcome email. Take the time to look it through. You don't have to read every word, but make sure you have a general understanding for what's expected and what our policies and procedures are, okay? You know, it's you guys are again the front lines. You're making sure all of these processes that are in your cookbook, that are in the handbook, you're the first line of defense to make sure that those are being held up. And the hardest thing to do is to get somebody to do what you want them to do in a way that you want them to do it. Now again, everybody has maybe a different way of doing certain things. As long as that's acceptable to you and your manager, we're okay with that. But again, we put these processes in place to make sure that they're followed and they're not negotiable. So again, we need to have an open communication of what's being followed, what's maybe not being followed, and really make sure that, you know, we harp on people for following these processes. We've had situations in the past where, for example, our basement, we store a lot of materials down there, it gets crowded. We've had days where that basement looks like a tornado hit it. So it consistently happened a couple times, and finally we just called everybody in on a Saturday morning and had them clean out the vehicles. You know, what we want to do is punish as a team and reward as a team. We want everybody to succeed, but when one person fails or one person doesn't follow a process, and the whole team fails, and it hurts the whole team because somebody has to pick up the slack. A little bit on dress code. Khaki pants and a shirt. Nice jeans are fine, acceptable. Boots or sneakers, clean. Again, no holes, not dirty. We want to present, remember, you're representing us every time you put on that DCS uniform. We want to make sure that you're putting our best foot forward. The way you act, the way you dress, the way you talk, everything about you, that client is forming an opinion of you when they see you in their building. First impressions do matter. So let's make a good impression, and you can get off. If you get off on the right foot with a client and with DCS, you're going to have nothing but success here. So moving on, you know, we talked a little bit about goals, and we're going to set goals for you. So here's your 1-year goal. This is where we want you to be. We want you to be so good that you're going to be able to train and develop 5 cleaning technicians who are ready or close to promotion. That may mean they're ready to be a supervisor. That may mean they're ready to be a trainer, depending upon what their skill set is. Again, everybody has a different skill set. Everybody has different strengths. We want to work towards those strengths and utilize them and identify and develop those strengths so that way we can place people in the correct position to keep them moving up the chain of command. Okay? So we want you to develop 5. Not an easy task. I've been there, done it. It can be difficult, but it can be done. For you, the first thing we need to do is get you up to speed on the processes, get you to learn how we do things, get you to form good habits. It takes 21 days to form good habits and to follow a process. You're going to have to, and your manager is going to have to, constantly remind you. Might sound repetitive. It's important. You have to have that repetition in order to make sure that you're forming good habits. Second goal, we want you to have 100% client satisfaction by the end of that first year. Not impossible, you can do it. As long as your inspections are good, your communication is good, your rapport with clients are good, you'll have nothing but success. So the third thing that we have here is $0 in paper product loss. And we just talked about how important that is and how expensive these materials can be. Not just paper towels, but chemicals. We need to make sure we're taking care of our bottom line, and that's paper products. We want to protect the customer's bottom line, which is paper products. You can do it. It's going to take discipline, and it's going to take you making sure everybody's sending you an inventory on a weekly basis, all of your cleaning techs. Make sure you're signing out paper products in the basement, and make sure we're keeping an eye on our inventory levels in the basement, making sure things aren't walking off. Okay? The final thing is you may start off as a part-time supervisor. It's okay. But by the end of that first year, you'll have the basic framework and foundation where you'll be able to determine whether you want to move forward and become a full-time employee or not. Frankly, we want full-time folks who are going to put 100% of their time and effort into DCS and to help the company grow and fulfill our vision. So we expect you to be ready to be promoted to full-time, okay? Again, after between 3 and 5 years, you're going to be so good that you'll be ready to be a manager. It's very important. We want you to reach that. It's the only way that the company is going to grow. We realize that, which is why we invest so heavily in training and development of all of our supervisors and our leadership team. So the next thing we're going to talk about is our submission and the Chronotech program that we've put in place here at DCS. It's an online system that makes things very simple. It allows you to view your employees' check-in, check-out times, allow you to see whether they're meeting their goals in real time, and to see, if anybody shows up late, clocks in at the wrong time, the wrong place, so on and so forth. You're going to receive a separate training video on Chronotech itself and how to operate and use it. So I'm not going to get into too much depth with it, except that it's a great tool for you guys to use to keep track of your employees and make sure that they're meeting the goals that we've set out for each account. Each account has a time limit, a budget that we're given and we're able to work within, and we need to make sure that our employees are both keeping the client 100% satisfied and at the same time maintaining and meeting their goal. That's what makes it difficult. It'd be great if we could go in and clean a building for hours on end, but the important part is that we do it efficiently so we can make sure that it's a cost-effective investment for our client. So that's Chronotech. You guys will be using it to clock in and out. You clock in at the beginning of your shift when you start, you clock out for lunch, clock back in, and then clock out at the end of your shift. Very simple and straightforward. You can either download the Chronotech app on your smartphone, and we will send you an invite to make a username, password, and all you have to do is press a button to clock in and out. It's great. The other option is to call in and call out. Call a toll-free number, we'll get you that, and enter your employee code, the job code you're working on. And again, you'll have to call in when you clock in, call out when you call out, or when you clock out, and so on and so forth. So that's it. I don't want to spend too much time on it. We'll move on to the next slide. The next piece that becomes more and more important as we grow and as we work towards that vision is safety. It's huge. We're working with quite a few chemicals, quite a few materials, machines, not necessarily extremely dangerous items, but items that, if improperly used, could really be harmful. And what we do, we provide everybody with the safety training necessary so that way they understand what the proper usage of these safety chemicals are. We do have our own separate safety manual. It's an OSHA manual. We encourage everybody to take a look at it. I haven't quite gotten to the point to develop that just yet into a formal training program, but that will change, over the course of the next year or so. But what we do have for now are STS sheets, safety data sheets, which we have one for each piece of, or each chemical that we use. The main product that in these, back to these sheets are meant to show you the proper use, to show you what should happen if some gets on your skin, how to rinse it off, if any gets in your eyes, so on and so forth. The main product we use, Envirox, fantastic product. It's 100% green. It's actually safe. It's hydrogen peroxide based. There's no bad chemicals that'll hurt you in it. However, if you decide to drink it, the concentrated form of it, it could have some serious side effects. So as supervisors, we want to make sure that all of our cleaning technicians are properly using the chemicals that are being utilized in our commercial accounts as well as our residential accounts, and any other cleaning that we do. And it's your responsibility to also make sure that there's SDS sheets at each account or in each vehicle, and make sure that they're updated. If you don't have one at an account for some reason or in a vehicle, just ask. We have them here at the office. We'll be more than happy to distribute for you. With your cleaning techs, part of your training will be to show them the safety processes and procedures that we have here in place. Absolutely necessary that proper PPE is worn in situations where it's required, but even so much as in our commercial accounts or residential accounts when cleaning bathrooms, make sure you have gloves on. When you're sweeping a floor, make sure you're wearing a dust mask. When you're doing high dusting, we see situations where dust is falling. Wear glasses, wear a mask, make sure you're protected. We want you to be able to have long and healthy careers here at DCS, and the only way to do that is to make sure you're safe. Okay. So, part of your employee paperwork, we gotta have the following from you. Make sure that your paperwork is completely filled out. Make sure your HR rep double checks it. You have everything situated and filled out. Your direct deposit information is correct. We have copies of your social security card and license, and that we have a voided check or a direct deposit form from your bank. This is going to be key for us to make sure we get you uploaded into payroll smoothly, and we don't run into any bumps in the road. We also need, and you'll see in your packet, emergency contact form, very important in case we need to get a hold of somebody, if there is an emergency. So please make sure that's completely filled out. Any other paperwork, miscellaneous paperwork, your supervisor, HR rep will double check to make sure we have that all completed. So with that being said, I'd like to take some time now to answer any questions that you all may have. I'm sure you have plenty of them. You're all intelligent individuals, and we're very happy to have you on board and entering into the realm of leadership here at DCS. We look forward to your continued success and helping you to continue to reach your goals, and we wish you the best of luck. Let's all work as a team. Let's all work together and fulfill that vision and the mission that we set forth. So with that, feel free to ask any questions. Thank you.